Well, look, I don't know whether he's on my left or on my right, but this is Kjell in Norway, and I'm Alex here in London. And we're going to just talk a little bit about, what are we going to talk about, Kjell?
We're going to talk about what to do in these times of the corona, and how do we run a company when everything stops.
Yeah, so do you want to start with something?
I mean, we've done, I mean, our touring stopped already 3 weeks ago. And some of the actors have been actually still working because they're contracted and they're paid, but they have to stay at home. In Norway, everyone is asked to stay in their houses. I don't know how the situation is in the UK now, but
yeah, it's the same really. Yeah. Everyone's asked to stay at home unless they have some work in essential health or essential things for food and security and those kinds of things. So we had the same really from 2 weeks ago, just less than 2 weeks ago. We were advised that all physical meetings should be suspended, and that was on the first day of R&D for What the Fuck Is Going On, which we're producing together with you guys and with the Unicorn and with Braga Theatre in Drammen. And we were there. We were a week in London at the Unicorn and then a week in Norway. So the people from Norway couldn't travel to London, and the people from London couldn't travel to Norway. We did set up actually via a Slack group, a sort of online R&D, and we didn't meet every day. We met some days, and I gave people some tasks to do, some things to record, and so on, which was a bit weird to do. It's interesting because that's a project that's about the internet and our life online. So it's quite comic to do then the R&D online. But it's what you don't get is, Greg made some music, Eva recorded some video, lots of the people involved made stuff and wrote stuff. We even did a sort of small performance on WhatsApp. But you don't get that bit where you come together and sort of put different parts of that work together in the same space and see how they sit together and kind of get ideas from other people. So
it's limited, isn't it? I mean, you can work to a certain point and then you don't get any further. You have to meet up in a room together.
Yeah, and I think that, I suppose that, I don't know, do you think people will miss the live experience? So much of our life is online, but the point about theatre is that it isn't online, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I see now that in Norway now there's a lot of this big digital space opening up for concerts and also for fine arts and stuff like that. And also there's been some viewing, some videos of performances and some streaming, no streaming actually, because you can't have people in the same room anymore. But I mean, it's really, the core of theatre is not digital. The core of theatre is being in the same space, smelling the audience actually. So I find it very limited, and actually it doesn't give me much to see those performances online, even though we do the same.
We have put up, so we put up some stuff publicly online for people to look at if they'd like to. I suppose that's interesting. It's more sort of like a document of a performance, right? I mean, actually that's the thing, isn't it? It's not the experience. The experience is being there watching the show. The experience of watching it online in a video via however good that video is a different kind of experience. It's the experience of watching a movie or a video recording, and when things aren't made for that format, then they're just materially different, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's, of course it can be interesting as a study, or as as to watch it as a film.
Yeah, the other task would be to make something online, specifically for online, and that's not my, I don't know, I maybe don't feel confident about that. That's not my sort of skill.
No, not mine either. But actually the actors that are still working this week actually have made some material. They've been writing some texts about their work and experiences on tour. They've also made some recordings of some music together that we will publish later. So it's possible to. I mean, it's important to have something to do in these times, I think, and also to think long term. And of course, we will go on furlough, or some of us have already gone on furlough, and then it becomes even more difficult for some people, I think, because then you can't work. So I think it's really important to look after each other in the company now, and just check in with each other and see that everyone's okay, even though they're not touring. Because for a lot of people, this is, I mean, the touring and the acting every day is their life. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's the reason to do it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's that thing about like being in the room and making things with people. Yeah, that's a very different thing than working in a distributed group contributing to a project. They're different kinds of tasks. And I guess that for me, I feel like I drifted into this business because that's the bit of it that I enjoy, and perhaps I'm good at it. And the bit about like sort of remotely working as part of a distributed group of people, I find much more difficult or much less rewarding. I might try and catch up on some reading. That's and some research and watching things. But it's a tough time. It's also maybe a little bit of a taking a pause time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the first 2 weeks I was very stressed because I mean there was nowhere to. I was supposed to open a new performance in the theater in Oslo. So I had to stop 5 days before my premiere, and you know that feeling when you're almost there and actually the work is even good and you know it's good already, and you just have to snip it off. That was very hard, and then I was very stressed because I mean there was no deadlines at the you know.
I think because I wrote to our office team yesterday saying that from next week they'll be on furlough. And I think that bit of it feels difficult because we started in 2001 with this company, which wasn't a company, just a group of friends. And over the years in the UK office, we've become 5 staff, and 4 of those staff are permanent staff. And our process has been, taking slowly. Okay, we're big enough now to have another person and to be able to continue working and afford it. So writing to people to say, oh, from Monday, stop working, I think that's really a barrier. That feels horrible to do. But then also we've got a colleague with a partner who's in the hospital because of the coronavirus. So we're saying like it's actually, you can see how serious and how dangerous it is.
Yeah, and also because we don't know when we can start again. I think it's the only way to do it. I mean, we sent out the note about the furlough already on the 13th of March, and it really felt strange. And luckily we've been able to pay some of the freelancers, and I guess you have as well in the projects, like the cancellation in New York and all these things.
Which is also not even so. If something sort of failed or something went wrong, like in England with a project, then you say, okay, well, we're doing these other things. But because we operate all over, and then all over it's all off, and you can't go there and you can't travel there. And actually the panic of trying to retrieve some of those costs, and so how do we stabilize the situation? That's difficult. Well, just maybe as an ending. Because otherwise the recording will be massively long. What's your bets? What's your pitch on things to get back going? When do you? I mean, I know we wouldn't speculate, but what's the Norwegian take on when will things get going again?
It's very hard because there's some stuff I haven't cancelled yet. That is a month in front of me. So I would say I'm standing in a rehearsal room in Germany in 1 month from now. But that's big. That's very optimistic, and I hope I'm right.
I'm saying,
but
back working 8th of September. Back like properly, everything back to be able to work again. Like, I don't know if that's we'll see, won't we? But that was a thing about what's going on now. Bye from London.
Bye bye from Oslo.